The Diocese of Kampala has unveiled a 5-year strategic plan aimed at transforming ministry and responding to the changing needs of the church and the wider community. The plan focuses on mission and evangelism, discipleship, youth empowerment and sustainable development, while also seeking to address gaps in counseling and the use of technology in ministry. The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Dr. Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, challenged the diocesan leaders to work together rather than operating in isolation.
Let us be bridge builders, not wall builders. Let us build bridges, not walls. Let's support one another as a diocese. And above all, the strategic plan is not for anything. It's for transformation and bring conversion of the head, the heart, the hands, the homes, the hospitals, the hotels, the hostels, and the habits. That's the purpose. Conversion of the head, the heart, the hands, the homes, the hotels, the hostels, the homes, and the habits. That's the purpose. Whatever I was talked about, that is a holistic ministry. And that's the purpose why we have a strategic plan.
Diocesan leaders say the plan comes at a time when the church needs to find new and effective ways of reaching people, particularly young people and men. They say increased use of technology and social media could help the church expand its evangelism and connect with the communities beyond traditional church settings.
We've been here for the launch of the strategic planning process by the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda. And one thing that came out is that many of the seniors seem to have difficulties with the technology because many of them are not trained on it, and they find it difficult even to do with the current systems in terms of the systems of information. And that's critical. The reason is, one, is because of their age. As you age, some of these things you didn't meet them in school. I remember the first time I touched a computer, it was after my first degree. So you can imagine, people may find difficulties in that area. But also too, is that some of these senior people are neglected. And so we need to reach out to them.
Also the issue of technology. Now, technology is here to stay. It will only go forward, it won't go backwards. And so we not only need to support our elders who may be slow at picking up the very fast coming technologies, but we also must create the leveraging, the opportunities out of these technologies to get reports in time from the different activities we are doing, and to create more programs that can reach wider people in the diaspora, people who are running all over the country, reach them for the gospel, reach them anytime, not only the programmed times on Sunday and midweek service, but reach them anytime. Some of them are in different time zones. We have become aware of these things, so leveraging on technology to ensure that we reach everyone with the gospel every time, every day. That is something we shall really pick up and emphasize and use to grow the vision and mission of the church.
Also, one of the aspects that has been highlighted by this plan is to be able to grow churches beyond the four walls. We're living in an age of technology. So there's a need to use the technology, the online mode to have services live streamed. And I remember even COVID actually gave a wake-up call to churches so that we are able to enable those people who are not able to come to church to attend service using the online mode. So it is also important to have devotions, for example, in the mornings using the Google Meets, because we are moving in an age of technology, and this must be addressed.
Challenge of clergy like myself who are in the evening of our ministry and probably missing out on some of the skills when it comes to, IT and so on. I think we need to be retrained, we need to be retooled so that we can be relevant and be able to use some of these resources that are so much available to us, and yet we can't access them because we don't have the technical skills to do that.
It is a time that we need to look at the different technologies that are in place and also guide them through all this.
Leaders welcomed stronger counseling and family ministry, including post-marriage support and services for those affected by gender-based violence.
The emphasis on family. You know, we are a church that is holistic. We are a family church. So we are being challenged to be intentional about counseling, helping the married couples. Where I serve at St. Francis Chapel, we do premarital counseling, and I think it's really, really good. We have a premarital counseling manual that is helping us. But in this strategic plan, we've been challenged as well as a Diocese of Kampala to come up with a strategy with premarital counseling manual. We've also been charged to come up with a manual for discipleship, and those are some of the things that we have worked on, and we shall continue to work on them now at a diocesan level. And we've been also challenged to counsel men and women, husbands and wives. You know, the issue of domestic violence is rampant in many families. People will be happy in mother's union, father's union, but they're being beaten at home. Men are beating their wives, and we are hearing these days that also women are beating their husbands. Very absurd. So I believe God being at the center, He will help us engage in this counseling, not only for premarital counseling, also post-marital during our marriages. So that, I mean, there are challenges that come in life, but be reminded we are in this together. None of us is perfect, and none of us can stand and say they are not facing challenges. Challenges come, but when Jesus is at the center, we can walk together because two are better than one.
For instance, if you're going to build a strong family, which is the founding or the foundation for a strong church and community and nation, then I think we need to be very intentional in building teams that are going to help, or even coming up with a curriculum that we can all use that is going to help us prepare people that are intending to get married, but even for the people that probably have not even considered marriage but need guidance. So I think we need to be very intentional. I think that came out very clearly.
So my view is that we put a lot of energy and focus on strengthening marriages. And what does that take? It takes us as church leaders, as church ministers, to spend more time with the young people, help them in dating, courtship, and marriage.
And now we as leaders want to up our game in following up and having a programmatic way of ensuring that the post-marital, the marital counseling, those who are married are followed up so that they don't come back to us when it's too late. Many times they come when things have already gone so bad.
The idea of, post-marital counseling. Yes, many churches are well prepared when it comes to premarital counseling, and we have plans for the couples who are being prepared to get married. But many times we are challenged when issues arise after marriage. Couples do come back to church, and you find that we are not as prepared as we normally do before the marriages. But I think that is one area that we have to look at and make sure that we cover that gap.
Mission and discipleship also at the center of the strategic plan. Church leaders say evangelism should not end after someone accepts the Christian faith, but should be followed by the discipleship that helps new converts grow spiritually and become active members of the church.
Particular interest and what has really come to open my eyes a bit much wider is the area of socio-economic development. Well, number one was mission and evangelism, which we have been at for a long time. But when it comes to socio-economic development, issues of schools and issues of healthcare, and we have done something, but as the Diocese of Kampala, we can do much more.
The leaders also pointed to the need for greater inclusion of people with disabilities in the life of the mission of the church. They say the church should be a voice for the people with disabilities, strengthen evangelism, targeting them, and provide facilities that respond to their unique needs.
It was a great blessing talking about other, categories of people that we need to reach out to, especially the disabled. We want to thank God that right now the Diocese of Kampala is actually training someone who will specifically focus, especially ministering to the blind and to the deaf and he will soon be ordained after finishing his course. But this is just in a way of trying to encourage ministry to the disabled within our diocese. It is something that has been lagging. But
also in communities, we have people with disabilities. People with disabilities, as church, we need to come out and actually be their voice, prepared for them. Let us have in the mission focus evangelism to people with disabilities. Let us have facilities that actually address their unique needs, because people with disabilities have unique needs.
With the strategic plan now in place, the assistant leaders say the focus must shift from planning to implementation. They believe working together as bridge builders, embracing technology, and responding to the needs of the different groups will be key to achieve the Diocese of Kampala's vision for the next 5 years. Emmanuel Elengai for Church of Uganda Family TV. News at 8.